Hi everybody, I've just seen something really troubling and I thought I'd better go live and talk about it because it really is worrying. This is. In the Times, powers to force coronavirus tests will be signed off without a vote. Excuse me. Far-reaching emergency powers that will allow the police to detain people who may be infected with the coronavirus and force them to be tested will pass through the Commons within days without a formal vote. This is the very definition of something that is going to be abused. Who decides who may be infected with the coronavirus? Who decides? Anybody in authority who wants to detain somebody? And then I see this on Twitter from my mate Charlotte. I am hearing rumours from 4 sources that Army and police are preparing for full lockdown on Thursday after the coronavirus bill. I'm not entirely convinced, as it sounds like fear-based speculation now. If anyone has updates, please let me know. Here's the thing, people aren't taking this serious. And you know what? I get it. I understand why. I understand why they're not taking it serious because, let's face it, they've been lied to their whole life by the very people now who are telling them they've got to take this serious. You know, the very people that they've been lying to for the last 4 years about Russiagate, about Donald Trump being a puppet of Vladimir Putin, and that it was Vladimir Putin and his Russian bots. They're the ones who elected him. It wasn't because Hillary Clinton was a horrible warmonger and everybody knew that she was corrupt. No, it wasn't that. The Russians. You know, these people have been saying that these people have been told that it's the Russians that elected Trump 4 years ago, for 4 years. And they know it's bullshit. And now those same people are saying this is serious. This is the boy who cried wolf scenario. They know that these people, the media, the government, have been lying to them non-stop for years. So now when it is time for them, hold on a minute, we have to take this serious, they're not. And as a result now, those same authorities are going to use this to take their rights away. We have to start taking this serious. We have to. If we don't, there's going to be martial law in this country. They're going to be arresting anybody who's out without a valid reason. It might even get to the stage where we got to start getting asked for our papers. You see the route I'm going down here. This is a severely right-wing authoritarian government who will go full fascist if we let them do it. Go back to this Times article. They're trying to shove through this bill. Peter Hitchens is losing his shit right now on Twitter over this. Totally losing his shit, and I can see why. And Peter Hitchens, remember, is the one person in the mainstream media, and the mainstream media, the corporate media, old media, whatever it is, the one journalist who really has been standing up and been telling the truth about Syria and Duma. Something that these people have been, who know that they have been lied to constantly, now think the authorities are lying to them about COVID-19. It's the boy who cried wolf, and they're going to use this to take your fucking rights away. I'll start again. Far-reaching emergency powers that will allow the police to detain people who may be infected with the coronavirus and force them to be tested will pass through the Commons within days without a formal vote. Matt Hancock, the health secretary, said that the law would be used only, quote, when it is absolutely necessary. In other words, whenever some fascist bootlicker in a uniform with a badge decides that it needs to be used. You see what I mean here? The measures have been agreed between the... I mean, these are the same people, by the way. The same people now that they're going to have policing our streets, by the look of it, by the fucking weekend, who were using pictures of Jeremy Corbyn for target practice not so fucking long ago. And you Corbynistas on the left, the so-called left, have been cheering this on. As if this is the actual way that we should go. The measures have been agreed between the parties and are likely to be passed through Commons on the nod. Yes, take people's rights away. Yes. They're not listening to us because we've been lying to them forever. They are expected to gain royal assent before Parliament goes into recess next week. The government said, quote, public support and compliance is crucial and we are grateful for the flexibility people have shown, but we need to ensure police and immigration officers have the authority to enforce these measures where necessary. How long before they start detaining people and saying, oh yeah, how would you know, can you prove you were born in this country? How long? I suggest about 0.2 seconds. He loves Donald Trump, does Boris Johnson. Loves him. You see the route they're going to take here. And they're going to slip it through while everybody is fighting with themselves again over whether it is real or whether it isn't. Meanwhile, they're going to take your rights, strip them from underneath you. You know what? Maybe you don't deserve them. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't deserve them. The plans would also give local authorities the power to direct funeral providers and drafting businesses to supply more vehicles to move bodies, open crematoriums for longer, and, quote, streamline the death management process. If that paragraph there doesn't scare the fucking shit out of you, I don't know what to tell you. They're not lying about this one, people. This is serious. And they are going to take your rights away because they're going to say you didn't listen to us. But like I say, I don't blame you for not listening to them now. They've been lying to you about everything for years. The government said it would be necessary to streamline funerals because there, quote, may be reduced capacity to register and manage deaths as a result of pandemic-related sickness absence. Measures include requiring only one doctor to sign off certificates, confirming deaths and removing the need for inquests to be held with a jury. The bill will also allow people to be detained under mental health laws if one doctor deems that they are in need of urgent treatment rather than two. Councils will be allowed to relax care standards to ensure that they can prioritise those who need help the most, while hospitals will be able to discharge elderly patients early to free up beds. I mean, some of these are you can see here they're measures that need to be taken, but there's no need for them to be taking the measures of putting the army on the fucking streets because people aren't listening. I get the fact that you don't believe a fucking word they say because they've been lying to you forever. I get it. My whole channel is built on that whole entire thing. They've been lying to you. They're not about this one. And if people don't start listening, they're going to use it as the excuse to take your rights away from under you while you argue amongst yourselves. The law will enable recently retired NHS and social care staff to return to work. Again, this is something that's sensible, without any negative repercussions to their pensions. It will also allow for statutory sick pay to be paid to those self-isolating from day one, with small businesses able to claim money back from HMRC. Mr. Hancock said, quote, "The emergency coronavirus bill this week will only be used when it is absolutely necessary and must be timed to maximise its effectiveness. But crucially, it gives the government the powers it needs to protect lives." They will use this as the excuse to do it. Don't give them the excuse. Parliament is facing pressure to strip back its operations dramatically and potentially close a week early amid fears that it is exacerbating the pandemic. The House of Commons is due to disband for a 3-week Easter recess on March the 31st. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure they'll all go on holiday now. 2 MPs, including the Health Minister Nadine Dorries, have so far tested positive for C19. More than 20 MPs, including 2 cabinet ministers, are self-isolated after they or others in the household developed symptoms of the virus. There you go, people. Write to your MP. Shout about it. Scream about it. You can't do this. You can't take away our rights like this. But, you know, I get why people don't believe it. I get why they say it's nothing. I get why. There's a broader thing to think about here. If it's not C19, it's going to be the next thing. And the next thing will be around the corner. We have to, absolutely have to find a better way of structuring things so that we can go forward as a bloody human race, let alone a country. And we need to stop thinking of things, you know, on a national basis. I see Trump blaming things on China, calling it the Chinese virus. He's like the world's biggest troll. He's the world's biggest online troll. We need to come together, not to. Let me just go to the chat and say how I wanted to go live, people, and just say they're going to take your rights away. They're going to do it because people aren't being responsible. You know, I've tried to say to people, we've got to take this seriously, and I know a lot of people are, but there's too many people out there who just don't believe a word the government say. To be honest, I don't blame them. Been lied to forever. Woo! Gavin Levy, hi mate. £10 in the super chat, I really appreciate that. Did you see Peston last night on ITV News at 10? When he talked about this, he had a Freudian slip and said we all have this for 2 years. You know what, Darren, I didn't see it. I will say that Peston he was one of my favourite news reader guys up until I started doing this. Really weird. And his performance, we shall call it that, a performance in the Labour leadership debate for that, I think it was the Jewish Chronicle, was it, that sit down he did in front of the audience. I want to sit down with him and I want to talk to him about it. I really do. I want to sit down. I want to have a conversation with it. That's how much he's so slipped from where he was to where he is now. He's so slipped. He's almost become a parody of the Anchorman. It's he's so bad. So bad. And he has been for a while on the anti-Semitism thing as well. I remember hearing him question John McDonnell about the Jackie Walker case, actually. And I remember the way he framed everything. And I remember thinking, you bastard. Yeah, so I didn't see it. But then I don't really watch the news that much anymore, Darren. I don't really watch the news anymore. I had Sky on a little bit yesterday, but other than that, don't really watch it. The only news show, regular news show, mainstream news show I watch, honestly, is Vic Sanchez. He's the only person I watch. Like, it's a religious thing for me almost every morning. I watch it. I don't watch any of the BBC or anything like that. I see some clips online sometimes that I talk about just because they're nonsense and they've gone viral. Other than that, I don't really watch it. I do go to the BBC website. There's a lot of good stuff on there, but a lot of terrible stuff as well. Of course, you be able to read. Right, everybody. I wanted to quickly go live and talk about that. They're going to take your rights away. Some would say you didn't deserve them, and people haven't been screaming about the things that they took Julian Assange's rights away, didn't they? Nobody, even his own profession, made a song and dance about. There you go. Yeah, write to your MP. Go on Twitter and have a word with Peter Hitchens about this. It's a real, the authoritarian move. It's a big one. And you have to wonder, if they're doing this, what else is around the corner? What else are they going to use this as a reason to take your rights away? All right, everybody. Stay safe and take this serious. Talk to you all tomorrow.